You had your choice of Man United or Arsenal as a teenager, and you made your debut with a United team that had just won the treble. You must have thought at that time, well, this game is easy.
Yeah, I think like in terms of like making my debut for Manchester United was one of obviously the proudest days of my life in a Worthington Cup game against Aston Villa at Villa Park. But probably at that point I didn't think, this is it, I'm on my way to the first team now, because like, at the time the manager would always play a lot of young players, so to play in that game was massive, but probably didn't think I'm a first team player now. You're obviously your feet are kept firmly on the ground at Manchester United, and it was a disappointing result, obviously, to get beat against Aston Villa. Maybe expected, considering the team that they had out, compared to the team that we had out with a lot of young players in it. But I just remember sort of after that game, obviously disappointed always to get beat, but just thinking, I've just played a first team game for Manchester United, and it was one of the most incredible feelings that I've ever had. And to have that, I think as a child, my dream was to be a professional footballer, whether that be at Manchester United or Cambridge, wherever it may be, to be a professional footballer. And that, when you make your debut, it's that feeling of, I've achieved that. No one can ever take that away from you. You've played one game. If it's just one game, you've done it. You've played one game as a professional footballer, and it's something that, like a feeling that I can't even describe. It was such a incredible feeling of achieving something that you'd always dreamt of doing.
At the time, did you give yourself time enough to reflect on this is quite an achievement, or how did you was that your feeling at the time, that wow, this is big, this is really big?
No, probably not. Like, in terms of it, probably when you look back, like within football, you're always there's always something else. I personally probably didn't give myself time to. Don't get me wrong, it was a wonderful feeling in the moment, but then the next morning you're back in training and you're sort of on to the next thing, as it were. So it's something like when I look back now, sort of when my career is sort of long since finished, and it blows my mind. Like when I go back up to Manchester and I walk into Old Trafford, and to think 20 years ago I played in this arena, it's something that I'm so sort of proud of and grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. But sometimes it doesn't seem real, because like back then you don't appreciate things as much back then as you do maybe when you get a little bit older.
You turned down Bruce Rioch at Arsenal, but if it had been Arsene Wenger sitting in your living room, would the decision have been the same?
I generally think like it would. It was just the experience of Manchester United. It just felt so right. I felt so at home at the club from the second I went up there. And when Sir Alex Ferguson phoned my mum up and asked her to sign, I think from that moment there was nothing else. I remember when obviously the Arsenal youth development officer at the time, Terry Murphy, said he wanted to come and bring Bruce Rioch to our house, like in a little village in Cambridge, and they come round. I was absolutely scared stiff. Me and my mum sat with him, and he offered a sort of a schoolboy contract, an apprentice, a professional deal, and it was sort of, I just knew that I wasn't going to accept it. Obviously, I didn't tell him that there and then. I sort of had something to think about, but like in my mind, it from the moment that I went to United, from the moment that Alex Ferguson phoned up my mum, that was the club that I was going to sign for regardless.
How did you get along with Sir Alex?
Yeah, so like he was, I wouldn't say, he had a way of sort of making you feel special, even though like you, as a schoolboy player, you wouldn't see him very often, but when he did see you, the fact that he knew what your name was, it made you feel 10 feet tall. And like he had a way of making you want to work and want to run more than you thought you could do, just to sort of pay him back for the faith that he's shown in you. But the way that he done that was with everyone. It was like the players, it was with the ladies that cooked the dinner, it was with the kit men. He had a way of sort of having everyone pulling in the same direction, and I think that's where the success come from, because everyone bought into that. Obviously it helped that they had incredible football players at the time as well, but everyone sort of, you could feel the belief in him and the belief in the club, and the way that he was doing it was sort of bringing everyone together to achieve the success. And I think if you do that in any organisation, it brings huge rewards to it.
Did he do anything to prepare you for your debut?
Not at all. We found out, so we were just told to sort of, we'd be training with the first team, and we found out the team. And I think that's the way that he sort of done it. He'd sort of throw you in, he'd give you some sort of words, but I think he didn't want to make it feel like something that was huge or something that was too big for you. It was just a way that he'd just sort of put you in the team, and that sort of breed great trust in the fact that he believes that you're of a level to play for this football club. And I think that in itself brings so much sort of confidence, self-confidence to you, that he had the trust in you to select you for a first team game.